everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with my review for the third and final film of the original trilogy, and what is the actual finale of this series I'm doing, and that's of course for Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Oh yeah. The third, easily what is, I consider, the third best Star Wars movie, and what really should have ended Star Wars. Well, chronologically anyways. So what is this film about? Well, before I say that, this film was released in 1983, 3 years after The Empire Strikes Back, and this time revolves around Luke Skywalker successfully rescuing Han Solo and defeating Jabba the Hutt, and goes to complete his Jedi training with Yoda. However, what he unfortunately soon realizes as soon as he gets there, Yoda has pretty much died, but before Yoda dies, he tells him that he doesn't need to complete his Jedi training, and that's kind of already been completed. Yeah, and then now Luke Skywalker must battle his father Darth Vader in order to triumph over the Galactic Empire. While Han Solo and Princess Leia reaffirm their love and team up with Chewbacca, Lando Calrissian, the Ewoks, and the droids C-3PO and R2-D2 to aid in the disruption of the dark side and the defeat of the evil Emperor Palpatine. Yeah. So, I consider this my third favorite film in the series. And here's why. It's the ultimate finale to the Star Wars trilogy, and actually chronologically the Star Wars saga. The Rebels making one last final stand on the forest moon of Endor, going up against a huge army of Imperial Star Destroyers, TIE Fighters, Stormtroopers, and even a Super Star Destroyer. Yeah. So, before I get into the other good qualities, before Lord of the Rings Return of the King, and before Avengers Endgame, we had this. This pretty much was the Endgame or Return of the King of the 1980s, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, another great one. Han Solo returns after being frozen in carbonite and captured by Boba Fett at the end of Empire Strikes Back. Even C-3PO recaps this. As soon as he sees Han frozen, he's like, oh look, there's Han Solo, and he's still frozen in carbonite. It's a good way to recap the events of Empire Strikes Back, and let's not forget the final duel between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in the Emperor's chambers on board the Death Star 2 is very satisfying to the fans of the Star series. In fact, I consider this my favorite lightsaber duel of all of Star Wars, and easily the best fight in Star Wars ever. And in addition, the Battle of Endor is one of the most memorable, fantastic battles in the Star Wars universe and in sci-fi movie history, taking place both in space and on the ground. The Sarlacc pit sequence is amazing, some amazing directing by Richard Marquardt, and once again, great acting by Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, late actress Carrie Fisher, Billy D. Williams, and Ian McDiarmid. The special effects for the spaceship are pretty amazing by 1983 standards. They also got some excellent cinematography, too, and there's also, let's not forget, the most memorable character in Jabba the Hutt's place. Delicious Crumb, aka this rat that's known for one thing. It's his iconic laugh. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, and then some iconic dialogue such as "It's a trap" and another thing, with the special editions, which usually have some cringy moments, well, one cringy moment each, this is probably the first special edition that actually gives us a better ending of this movie. A better song for the ending of this movie. The Victory Celebration song, which I think is honestly much more preferable and better than the Yub Nub, which, since the Yub Nub doesn't really conclude anything really, just leaves it open for, unfortunately, more sequels. But if we had this song instead of Yub Nub, I have a feeling maybe we wouldn't get some bloody sequels to this movie after all. Because this special edition actually shows planets like Naboo and Coruscant celebrating the Empire's downfall. And some people don't like Hayden Christensen replacing Sebastian Shaw's Anakin's Force Ghost. I mean, yeah, it's a little divisive, but it's a nice way to connect the prequel franchise to the original franchises. As we remember, when Anakin burned on Mustafar, he that's what he kind of looked like. So never really got to live to see old age, really. But it was just a nice way to connect the prequel, showing that he had officially redeemed and he was able to become one with the Force after successfully killing Palpatine and fulfilling the prophecy as the chosen one. And it has some of the most emotional scenes in Star Wars history, such as Anakin's final redemption and funeral. Well, like I mentioned, it's an emotional conclusion to Anakin's Skywalker story. He had successfully redeemed himself after, in the final moments of his life, to destroy Darth Sidious, saved his son from Palpatine, and restored balance to the Force after he had realized that Palpatine had lied to him this whole time, just used him for dirty work. And basically just wanted to oath him off just to replace him with Luke and keep up the same chain. And then, of course, once Luke proved to be of no use to Palpatine, probably just kill him off next and find another apprentice to take aside and just keep doing this whole life. So yeah, it was good to see. So yeah, the prequels, believe it or not, actually make Palpatine's death way more satisfying and deserved. But unfortunately, this should have been his death because, well, unfortunately, we all knew it happened 30 years later. He somehow came back through a cloning process that I pretend did not happen. This is how he actually died. So yeah, because this amazing ending is what I still consider to be the true conclusion of the Star Wars saga, because with Darth Sidious dead and the Galactic Empire toppled, the galaxy can now enter a new era of peace. Well, okay, I will accept like Mandalorian as canon. Any of the stuff that comes after Return of the Jedi, maybe the Mandalorian is still canon to me, but that actually is good. The Mandalorian should have been the true sequel trilogy, not the actual sequel trilogy we got. And now for the bad qualities. Now, once again, like I've mentioned in Empire New Hope's reviews, George Lucas created special editions, and that have one cringy moment in each of them. And this one probably has the most cringy of all the special editions. Basically, when Jabba's watching his performance, they have this cornerly bad performance of most of these like aliens doing this cringeworthy dance or song or something. But and get this, one of the puppets actually, they close up on one of the female puppets and whose mouth is like this. And they close up on her mouth opening like this when she's singing. And I think that, yeah, and I could agree, that was probably the worst moment in the special edition history, and I kind of would, but yeah, but the original version doesn't even have that moment, but yeah, it's probably the only special edition moment I really, really do not like the most. But I think that's kind of, and yeah, another bad quality is that the Jabba sequence kind of drags on the first half of the movie. It drags on the Jabba sequence was a sequence where the rescuing Han from Jabba was way too filler at times, but oh well. Then again, this is supposed to be the most lighthearted moment of Star Wars, and some can agree. I kind of wish it were a bit. Some people can say that they wish it were a bit more darker, but personally, I don't think this one's really meant to be darker because this was supposed to be the return of triumph, the return of everything that everybody lost during Episode 3. So I can see why this one's more lighthearted. Plus, an originally interesting fact. Originally, I think one of the original writers wanted us to end on a more Western note, but George Lucas didn't like that idea, so he fired one of the original writers and decided to make the ending happier so that we'd actually get closure, which is kind of for the best, because if they chose the Western-style ending, I probably would have hated this film. So I'm glad they didn't go through with that. Alright, that's pretty much my review for Return of the Jedi. I don't need to tell you to watch it because I know you've already pretty much have seen it. But anyway, here's how I'm obviously going to rank Return of the Jedi. I am going to give Return of the Jedi a 9.5 out of 10. Okay, and with that, that officially wraps up the original trilogy. Up next will be the prequel trilogy. So yeah. And I'm gonna say this, guys. I enjoyed the prequel trilogy. People can get mad at me for saying all they want, but I really enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, I think all 6 of the movies still hold up despite three shitty sequels that would follow in the 2010s. Episodes 1 to 6 really still well hold up to this day as one of the greatest saga in sci-fi history. But yeah, next up will be the prequel trilogy. Until then, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching. If you like this, want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.